Hello, I am Jody Wolf. You're watching EXPOZ. Today, July 10, 2011, 2:22 a.m., Birmingham, Alabama. Topic: What horrible injustice we witnessed in Florida this past week. But let me start out and say this. These cases don't always make it headlines. Nancy Grace brought this one up front and center. But I want to tell you, we don't know how many actual cases happen that goes unreported. But what I can tell you is 5 children die daily in America. 5 children each day. 1,825 murders are either dying from severe child abuse. I just want to tell you that. Casey Anthony is just one of many that you will never ever hear of. So I want to say this. As an ex-cop, the worst call a cop can get is, and I'm using the old codes that we had where I worked, 1045 Signal 1. This is a wreck with injuries. We always dread those because, you just hate to see someone really hurt. And the second is a 1038. This is investigate, but then domestic. When you have a 1038 domestic, you dread it because you're going to walk in among someone else's fight, and it's not easy to stop this without sometimes other people getting hurt. So I just wanted to bring that up. And when you arrive, you see a crying wife and a drunk husband. Well, this is a no-brainer. These calls are easy. You take the wife to a friend or a neighbor. But you don't take her husband and lock him up because she will not file against her husband for fear of a much worse fight the next time around. Now, these calls usually come from the same address. You get them over and over and over, and you begin to know the routine. You begin to know how to respond to that particular address that you are already used to by the number of calls you've had in the past. It's week after week, month after month, and sometimes year after year. And finally, we stop making reports. I don't mean that we quit going. It's just that why make a report when she's not going to sign a warrant against her husband? So, and then you hear she finally had enough. She finally had enough. Now, take the woman who has been abused, beaten, forced to do horrible things, and treated like a slave in her own home, and finally she breaks. She, for once, fights back, and she shoots her husband, or the dirtbag that she's living with that's putting her through this hell. And then she gets murder one, and she stays in jail forever. So I just wanted to get that out of the way and mention the injustice that's out there, the number of calls or murders of children. Just want you to be aware of that. Also, when you have a judge that directs a jury to include or exclude certain parts of the trial, most always finds the woman guilty. And this is a fact. And on the other hand, if it was a man, it's harder to prove that he is the guilty party. That's not right. But it's the directions that comes from the judge that orders the jury in their deliberation what to use and what not to use. And when you kick out certain items, well, it's a no-brainer. You can't find this person guilty because the main concern, or rather the main fact that would prove him guilty, the judge told you to discount it or throw it out. And with the recent trial in Florida, and I will not mention, well, everybody knows, they had the same problem. The jurors could not find her guilty on what they had to work with because of what they were not able to use. But they had to follow instructions from the judge and the court system, and this is all they could do. The court system is set up to directly target certain people and find them guilty when they should not be guilty, and find people innocent when clearly they are guilty. I believe that the court system will go the way the judge wants it, or, and I've seen this or I would not be saying it, the highest paid lawyer wins. So y'all know what I'm saying is true, but you must keep in mind, you study the Constitution, you know it, you read it, and you need to understand it and adhere to its contents, because the day is coming when people will be selectively arrested and jailed. This, my friend, is called socialism. You best be well versed in the field of freedom of religion and the Second Amendment, because it is these that will soon be on trial. You can't know the system, but you can know your rights, and for now the Constitution is all you have. So the selective system we just saw will soon be all there is, and very unjust, when it should be in God we trust, but they took God out. That's pure socialism, nothing more. The guilty parties might escape our judgment, but no one will escape God's judgment. No one. Jody Wolf, EXPOZ.